Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsey Hellison with SPS back in the building with another SPS Monday Motivation. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. As many of you know, if you see my timeline, I was in Detroit, North Farmington, that is, for the Horatio Williams Foundation Tip-Off Classic. It's been 15 years. It's been a great time. Great to see these young people getting the basketball season started. Then looking forward to being with Chris Webber this Saturday and Sunday down at Detroit Mercy for Chris Webber presents the Best of Michigan Showcase. There'll be some great lineups, no doubt, with some local teams from the Metro Detroit area. We're going to have the young men on Saturday. You see the lineup here, and then we're going to have the young men as well as the young ladies on Sunday as well. We're going to have two girls games. So that's what we got going on there. So, with that being said, as we start to move through December to wrap up 2025, don't be alarmed, don't be concerned. It's okay. But trauma always is triggered around the holidays and depression kicks in. So, a message I want to emphasize is internal validation versus external validation. Yep, that's what we're going to talk about right now. Today's topic is internal validation versus external validation, right? Athletes, like I was with this weekend, professionals, those who are getting up to get ready to go to work right now, and everyday people all face the same question. What's that question, Lindsay? Where does my drive come from? What's motivating me? What's getting me going? What has me hyped? What makes me jump out of bed like, let's go? We know family and other goals can do that, but let's talk about where all this comes from and what's important, right? And the basic difference is simply this: external validation, motivation from others, the likes on social media, the applause when you walk through, the awards, the compliments, approval. Those things are important. And those come from things outside of what we have a direct control over. But the internal validation, motivation from within, personal standards, goals, self respect, and purpose. Those are the things that should get you up in the morning. Those are the things that when this weather is like it is, and it's not easy like jumping out of bed or just throwing on your shoes, no socks, and running out the door when you got to bundle up just to go warm up the car, just to go to the gym, or just to go grab a bite to eat or go to work, whatever it may be. It can be tough, right? Going back to athletes and why athletes get caught up in this trap, okay? And here's the thing. Athletes often hear, prove them wrong. But psychology shows that when motivation depends solely on others, this is what happens. Performance based becomes inconsistent, confidence becomes fragile, and anxiety increase, and mistakes feel personal. Got some comments here. Got Michelle Mimi walking. Happy belated birthday, 61 trips around the sun, looking like just fresh out of the college campus down there at LSU. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for always supporting the platform. And definitely enjoy. And I have Patricia England saying, good morning, son. Good morning, dear mother. How are you? It was great to see you this weekend. Always great to have a spot when I can come and just be with moms and be at home. So we're talking about external validation versus internal validation, right? And we talk about how that impacts individuals. And that internal validation builds steady and repeatable excellence. Sorry, I missed that. The professional face is the same battle. Those getting up to go into the office today, or whatever it is you may be doing, standing in front of the young people teaching, whatever it may be. At work, external validation looks like salary, recognition, and praise from supervisors. Very interesting. We talk about salary. Six figures has always been talked about. It's talked about almost like it's minimum wage in America. Like that's the expectation. Just read an article on MSN saying the six-figure lifestyle is still got to have a side hustle, got to cut back on things. It's just the economy that we're dealing with right now. And I'm not saying that to be political, but I'm just saying that sometimes we want the status of a salary or a title to fulfill us. But I tell you what, I've been in the thick of corporate America, worked for a Fortune 1 corporation, company car, that salary that we're talking about, as well as the credit card and all these type of things. And it does not give you complete internal validation, right? I just want to say that. Also, but somebody can say, hey, I can cry in a Ferrari. I'd be all right with that, right? But it's really important that we know where our validation needs to come from, right? So we talked about the internal validation builds steady, repeatable excellence, that's important because it comes from within. And we deal with professionals facing the same battle at work. Those salaries and all those things, those can be helpful. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather cry in a Ferrari than a Pinto, right? But when they become the only motivator, that's when burnout rises and that fulfillment drops when it's the only motivator, right? So that's why your personal life is important. We talk about this hidden battlefield. We got a comment right here. Got Tamara Hunt Williams. Good morning. Said, check out 5 Reasons to Stop Saying Good Job by Alfie Cohn. Okay, we'll have to do that, Tamara. Thank you. 5 Reasons to Stop Saying Good Job. Okay, well, that's letting us know that's going to be something that's going to be helpful. You always bring something positive and substance to our conversation. I hope you're doing okay, getting out to Grand Ledge, getting the kiddies together. In relationships and daily life, external validation can look like wanting to be like, overthinking how others see you, and seeking reassurance instead of clarity. See, we got to understand that. Let's talk about this. I got a visual for us this morning, right? First of all, when you look at the scales, the good scale, internal validation is going to outweigh external validation. That's what you see with the green check, right? But the red check is when the external validation outweighs it. Now, what does that look like in everyday life? All right. Feeling good about yourself is internal validation, right? We got to work on that. Easier said than done. Wanting others to tell you that you are good is that external validation. Tamara, that might be the root of the book you just shared while you say stop saying good job. Also, too, we talk about external validation. Let's talk about the language. I hope they like what I'm wearing. Internal validation says, I love what I'm wearing reflects me. I love that what I'm wearing reflects me. External validation, I feel ready. Do you think I am? Internal validation says, I feel ready to give my best. You see how it says, I do feel ready, but it just confirmed it for oneself. Also, I'll act as they expect of me compared to I express my authenticity. Also, they didn't congratulate me or say I did a good job compared to I know I did a good job and I give myself due credit. It's about the internal validation, folks. Now, let me be clear. You don't just say I did a good job just be saying it. You got to have receipts. You got to know you've been putting in that work. You got to know what the standard is and how you met that and how you dealt with that. So that's important as well. Stay with me, folks. Also want to add, when we talk about internal validation, it creates emotional stability and healthier boundaries. You got to have that peace within, right? That gives you that emotional stability, those healthy boundaries, right? We want to talk about the psychology of self-determination theory, SDT, self-determination theory, right? Psychology says we thrive when we have autonomy. I choose this. Competence. I can do this. Relatedness. That also says I belong here. That's where we thrive, right? You have to have those internal validators for yourself, right? So what are the pros and cons? Let's break it all down, right? External validation pros can boost morale, can encourage effort. That builds community. Building community is something important and very important to me. External validation, the cons, addictive, unstable, creates pressure and identity confusion because you're relying on somebody on the outside to give you something. And in the event that you don't get something, you're going to feel that you fell short. And that's not a good thing, right? Also, the long-term gains outweigh the discomfort when we talk about internal validation. That requires discipline. That takes some time to develop. And sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels lonely walking that road where you're working on your internal validation because you're not seeking praise from others because they may not even be in a position to emotionally stretch to give you that, right? How do you build this internal validation? You want to set your own standards, you know. You want to celebrate small wins. You want to journal your progress. You want to ask yourself why you want something. You want to detach from effort, from the applause, and remind yourself, I am enough, right? You want to remind yourself, I am enough. I'll put that up again. That internal validation. Celebrate your small wins, folks. I did this. I got through the day. Even if it's just from me going from here to where I have to go in the next few hours, right? Journal your progress. Have something that shows that you have achieved things. I have my letter of acceptance into my PhD program. I have receipts from things that I wanted to acquire that I have. I have that up and I see that, right? Detach effort from applause. All right. You don't necessarily need the applause to drive your effort. And then remind yourself, I am enough. We all need to say that to ourselves because sometimes we shortchange ourselves for individuals or in spaces that you bring more than what they bring. And we're looking for that validation from them. So as I wrap up this morning, get you guys out here to get into this weather, to get going with a great day. External validation is a compliment. Internal validation is a foundation. The foundation is more important from a home, from building something. The foundation is the most important part. And don't get caught up because that external validation is a compliment, can be passing, and passing can be fleeting compared to that internal foundation. When you know the difference, you take control of your performance, your professionalism, and your personal peace, folks. When you do that, when you know the difference, you take control of everything that's going on. And I want you guys to take control going into this holiday weekend, not right now, but in the next few weeks, as we get prepared for all those things and wrap up 2025. This week's challenge, ask yourself, am I moving for them or am I moving for me? Am I moving for them or am I moving for me? If you're moving for yourself with the intent to be the best version of yourself, to accomplish those goals that you set out, to do things that are going to have a positive impact, you are setting yourself up for success long term. So, with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys checking in this morning. Let's go have a great day, have a great week, finish this month, and we're going to finish this year 2025. The only thing better than 2025 is going to be 2026 as we get prepared for the future. Thanks for your support, guys. See you soon. Peace.